Russia is throwing everything it has into the war in Ukraine. Under Vladimir Putin, the Kremlin has turned into a full-scale wartime economy, pouring almost all of its resources into one single mission: the invasion of Ukraine. But while Russia pushes forward at the front lines, something dangerous is happening at home. Terrorism, regional instability, and public anger are rising. And the truth is clear: Putin's grip on Russia is slipping. Senior Russia analyst Emily Ferris from RUSI has sounded the alarm. In her research, she argues that Putin's obsession with Ukraine has blinded him to his own country's security. By pouring men, money, and intelligence into the war, Putin has left gaps back home. Gaps that extremists and terrorists are now exploiting. She explains it simply: when your best intelligence agents, your best soldiers, and your budget are all focused on Ukraine, you don't have enough left to protect your own citizens. And that's exactly what we're seeing in Russia today. The most shocking example came in March 2024. 4 gunmen stormed Moscow's Crocus City Hall concert venue. By the time the shooting ended, 149 people were dead, and over 600 were wounded. The Islamic State claimed responsibility. What's worse, Russia had been warned. The United States and even Iran told Moscow that a terrorist attack was coming. Yet Putin's security services ignored the warnings. Why? Analysts argue that Russia simply didn't have the manpower, resources, or political will to respond. And instead of admitting failure, the Kremlin tried to shift blame, accusing Ukraine and the West of being behind the massacre, claims that were quickly dismissed as lies. Since then, Russia has seen a resurgence of terrorism, especially in the North Caucasus. Attacks on religious sites, bombings, and even prison riots are becoming more frequent. In June 2024, terrorists attacked churches and synagogues, killing at least 20 people. Western governments are now warning travelers that parts of Russia, like Dagestan, are highly unstable. These threats aren't new. They've been simmering since the Chechen wars of the 1990s. But Putin's war in Ukraine has given extremists a golden opportunity, because Russia's security forces are stretched too thin to stop them. Part of the problem is Putin's brutal approach to the Ukraine war. Russia has already lost over 1 million soldiers, according to Ukraine's Ministry of Finance. Many of these men were conscripts from Russia's poorest regions, thrown into battle as little more than cannon fodder. This strategy doesn't just weaken Russia on the battlefield, it also weakens the state at home. Many of the men who would normally serve as security agents or FSB operatives are either dead or tied up in Ukraine. Entire communities inside Russia are furious as their fathers and sons are sent to die in a war that seems endless. That anger is breeding resentment, and in some cases, extremism. So how is Putin responding? Not by protecting his people, but by silencing them. Reports from the UN and human rights organizations show that instead of targeting terrorists, Putin's regime targets journalists, activists, and political opponents. From 2024 to 2025, nearly 4,000 Russians have been convicted simply for peaceful dissent. Even children as young as 14 have been labeled terrorists. Independent media and artists are branded as foreign agents. Some face massive fines just for reposting content online. And when fines in prison aren't enough, torture fills the gap. This isn't about safety. It's about control. Putin wants to make sure ordinary Russians never see the truth. That his war in Ukraine is crippling the country from the inside out. The consequences are piling up. Russia is losing soldiers, losing security, and losing control over its own regions. Domestic terrorism is growing. Anger among minorities is rising. Journalists are silenced. And now, thousands of traumatized soldiers will one day return home from the front lines, bringing the brutality of war with them. Emily Ferris puts it bluntly: something is bubbling under the surface of Russian society, and it's not going away. Internal chaos is coming. And Putin's Ukraine obsession may be the very thing that tears his country apart. So the question is this: how long can Putin keep ignoring Russia's internal problems before they explode into something even bigger? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into global conflicts and their hidden consequences.